diagnosed in the U.S. stayed and where 4 people are under quarantine. CNN's Martin Savage is on the scene for us. Martin, you've actually been able to observe these crew members going in and out of this apartment.
Correct, Brianna, and it's been an interesting scene as it's developed throughout the day. The good news is that the 4 people who are in quarantine are said to be in good health and showing no signs of Ebola. That's the best news of all because it means that they also are not transmitting the disease in any way. The cleanup is taking longer than thought. Maybe not a big surprise here. Many people thought it has taken days longer just for the crews to show up as they have. Tonight, as Hazmat teams begin cleaning the apartment that Ebola patient Thomas Duncan stayed in, Duncan's partner and her 3 relatives who've been quarantined inside will soon be moved to another location, according to the Dallas County Fire Marshal.
The family has been monitored. There is no outbreak, and so therefore, everyone should ease their fears.
The state of Texas says it is now monitoring 50 people who were in contact with Thomas Duncan. And while none has shown symptoms, all must now check their temperatures twice a day. Today, the CDC reissued Ebola guidance to all U.S. hospitals, calling for increased vigilance, telling doctors to ask patients where they have traveled, and telling hospitals to isolate anyone who shows symptoms of the virus and has visited an affected country in Africa.
We recognize the concern that even a single case of Ebola creates on our shores. But we have the public health systems and the public health providers in place to contain the spread of this disease.
Officials say they are also preparing for the arrival of yet another American with Ebola, Ashoka Mukpo. A cameraman NBC News hired in Liberia earlier this week tested positive late Thursday. The 33-year-old is scheduled to return to the U.S. Sunday.
There's the honest fear that he becomes sicker before we have a chance to transport him, and that's the big concern that we have right now.
Mukpo was in Liberia filming a story with Dr. Nancy Snyderman, NBC's chief medical editor.
He and I were working in a workspace when he told me that he wasn't feeling well. He joined us 72 hours earlier as an independent journalist and had been in the hospital and had been in the country 2 weeks prior to that. So my suspicion is that he was infected before we met him. Everyone here is hyper alert. No one shakes hands. There's no hugging. So I do believe that our team, we are at very, very, very low risk.
Meanwhile, back here in Dallas, officials are still trying to clear up red tape that's been a hindrance. For instance, they are going to clear the believed contaminated items out of that apartment, Brianna, but they'll get it in the parking lot. Right now, it's not clear how or who will transport it away, and authorities will not say where. The other thing, those 4 quarantine family members, they are expected to be moved, but again, officials have not said where they're going.